Welcome back to the TG podcast. Arsenal, of course, keep on winning. Another 2-0 win against Burnley. Another clean sheet as well. Of course, we are here to recap the week. Not only the Burnley game, but beating Brighton in the Carabao Cup. We did progress to the quarterfinals of that. And the game, we do have a game tomorrow. Or by the time you're watching this, match day today against Slavia Prague in the Champions League. We've got Dom and we've got Rory with us, as always. Starting off with you, Dom. How's your weekend? And hope you've been keeping well, man.
Yeah, all good. Another win for Arsenal. Not quite as good as last weekend because Liverpool and City also won. And sort of normality is resumed in the Premier League, isn't it, really, with the top three as they are. But yeah, professional win away at Arsenal. Away at Burnley, sorry, for Arsenal. Big issue, obviously, was the injuries. But yeah, weekend was all good. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, as you rightly pointed out, Liverpool getting that win against Villa, and obviously City as well. City with Haaland, man, keeps on scoring goals for them, and they look back up there now. But we still got a very, very good gap, don't we? I think it's still only
six points, isn't it?
Yeah, even better, 6 points clear. So, but yeah, all good there. What about you, Rory, mate? You been well?
Well, to be fair, today I've been quite fucked off.
There's me demonetizing the first
say how you
1
feel,
minute.
Rory. Say how you really feel.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because Dom didn't get my Oxlade-Chamberlain joke. Not even the other day. Today.
You need to. I've not been paying attention. You have to tell the joke for us.
Yeah,
I mean,
so basically, I'm pretty sure the majority of you have seen, Oxlade-Chamberlain training at Colney, right? You've seen it, Josh, right? Sure.
Yeah, he's back, man. He's back.
Yeah, and I put that's not who I think it is, right? And then I put Kieran Gibbs, and then Dom was like,
"Yeah,
it's Oxlade-Chamberlain." I'm like, "Come on, I'm going through a lot right now, so I don't know." Like, what's worse, Josh sending the link at 9:10, or the fact Dom didn't get my joke? Oh, but yeah.
I mean, joke is a liberal term.
I thought someone.
Does Dom get it now?
No, I've no idea what the fuck he's talking about.
Wait. I think I get it, right? The 6-0 defeat against Chelsea. Referee sends off the wrong player. Oxlade-Chamberlain when kids said Kieran Gibbs.
But this guy, he took it literal and went, "No, it's Oxlade-Chamberlain."
I mean, in my defence, I was multitasking, but equally, I still had to ask now because I didn't get it. So
I thought you got hacked. There's no way, Dom. There's no way you bloody don't fall for that joke.
Oh, well, it is unusual because normally I'm straight on it, but yeah, no, I didn't get it, and I still didn't get it now. I still had to ask.
Well, you know what's coming now, eh?
Go on.
I'm not falling for any of your jokes no more. So.
Oh.
I didn't even hear it.
That was the point. See, Rory, I'm a bit fucked off really because Rory's not got my joke.
Oh my god.
But yeah. Apart from that, Rory, you been all good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Amazing. Let's get into it, man. Make sure before you start, guys, you're watching this, smash like on the video. You can find everyone's YouTube channels, and where you can find them is in the description as well. And leave your thoughts, get in the comments, everything we discussed today, because we've got quite a bit to go through. I think the best place to start is the game just briefly on the weekend against Burnley. 2-0 win, another clean sheet. And I think we have, if we keep a clean sheet tomorrow against Slavia, we break. Do we break history or do we equal the record?
Or equal the record from 1903.
1903,
Yes. Which was originally on my video for tomorrow, but then I had to re-record it when after the press conference, and I think I forgot to re-include that stat. But there you go, 1903, I think it was.
1903.
The last time Arsenal kept 8 clean sheets in a row.
8 clean sheets in a row. So yeah, of course, great to see another clean sheet. And I thought that first half actually was, in my opinion, one of the best that we've played away from home this season. In that first half, I thought we was actually exciting to watch. We was creating chances. I honestly think we could have been about 3-4 nil up. Obviously, the standout player for me, and we'll talk about it a bit later on, he's now injured, which is quite a concern because I've listened to Arteta's words and this is what he said about, of course, Gyokeres, but I thought he was I give him man of the match personally, but I think players like Declan Rice, was absolutely superb. I was impressed with like Zubimendi as well. I mean, those three for me stood out. And this defense is always, man. I think Burnley, they offered nothing until the last minute of the game when they had the free kick, which
as well.
which hit the post, didn't it?
Yeah.
But
So
apart,
still didn't get a shot on target.
yeah, still no shot on target, exactly. And yeah, we're not counting the one from flipping Eddie Nketiah, by the way.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous, by the way. But yeah, I thought that first half, really, really good. And obviously, second half, it was a bit more slow. But I think one of the reasons for that was because Gyokeres came off, and he brought him, Marino, and you can see like as much as Marino scored goals for us last season as a striker, and to be honest, guys, we'll talk about it a bit later on. He may have a role to play tomorrow in the Slavia game. Gyokeres is not just because he scored, but his overall play on the weekend in that first half, I was so impressed with, man. Like you guys see that pass for the second goal?
Oh yeah,
incredible, man, absolutely incredible.
Flat. It was obviously in the air, but it wouldn't go high, and it just flat and curved and just. Yeah. I'd kill to.
Haters will obviously say that it's intended to play it to Eze, but still, that was a fantastic pass. I actually missed it because the stream actually jumped in front. So...
yeah, the dodgy.
I only caught Rice celebrating. So yeah.
Yeah, literally. But yeah, overall, another 3 points, a 2-0 win, another clean sheet as well. Raya once again might as well be on holiday. For the past month. This guy's had absolutely nothing to do. But I'll start off with you, Dom. Another win, another 3 points, another clean sheet. What do you make of the game overall, mate?
You've just summed up, haven't you? Next question. No. Actually, just quickly on David Raya. I saw a Manchester United fan. It was quite funny, actually. He went, has anyone seen David Raya? Are we going to have to put him on the back of milk cartons? Because I bored Josh already. But
that's funny. Milk, yeah.
Actually, I genuinely thought that was quite funny. I saw it and thought, what's this guy going to be chatting about? And then, to be fair, it was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I think you're right. Arsenal very, very good in the first half. Burnley obviously got men behind the ball, but didn't drop as deep as sides have done recently. And it just shows that Arsenal can play football and create lots of chances when they haven't got 10 men camped in the penalty area. Because Saka on another day gets at least 2. Arsenal could have been 4 up at half time. Yeah. You rightly pointed to Victor Gyokeres. I think he was really important. He was an outball. He put pressure on the defenders. You saw in the second half that Burnley were able to get 10 yards further up the field. And that's not to criticise Mikel Arteta. He was brought in to be a backup central midfielder. But thanks to injuries to 3 strikers plus Martinelli, although I think he probably had from Arteta plays ahead of Martinelli in that role. I think Rory and I would probably disagree on that. Certainly for some games, there were games when maybe he's ahead of Martinelli in that role. Needs must, but he was fantastic in the game. Declan Rice, outstanding. He was my man of the match. Just he was everywhere. Was it goal and assist? Did he get the assist or was that Gabriel? I think it was a Gabriel. It was his corner that created it.
Corner,
anyway.
Yeah.
So he might not technically get the assist, but I thought he was outstanding. Arsenal second half. I think some of it was sort of a system because obviously we lost that sort of outlet up front, allowed Burnley to get forward more. But I think also Arsenal and Mikel Arteta are obviously angry about it. Sort of you see him on the sidelines, but I think there was an element of Arsenal just taking their foot off the gas, cruising through. And I actually think that things like that, getting a rest, not exerting unnecessary energy, a bit like we did against Port Vale, may well actually help us come the end of the season. When you got the game won and you don't feel like you're going to concede and you've got the gears to go through if you need it, was actually relatively sensible. But obviously the second half wasn't anywhere near the level of the first half. And, it was much more pedestrian. And obviously Mikel Moreno plays a role in that. But as I said, that's not a personal dig at him. I think to be really clear, I think that would be unfair to say, it's all Mikel Moreno's fault because I think it was a combination of the two things and he is playing out of position and he's a back to goal when he plays in that role, striker rather than, stretching the play, running in behind. And with way Burnley play, actually stretching is what you want, funny enough. But yeah, 3 points, good performance, and that's all you can really ask for.
Yeah, very well said. Rory, you got anything to sort of add with the Burnley game there?
Yeah, I mean, I echo what you guys are saying pretty much about the first half. I thought it was excellent. The only criticism being was the fact we weren't at least 3 or 4-0 up. Saka should have scored at least 2 of the chances Gyokeres put on a plate for him. Speaking of Gyokeres, I mean, 6 goals so far for Arsenal. Like, he's not doing too bad. And now, of course, coincidentally, he gets bloody injured. I mean, that's probably the best half he's played in an Arsenal shirt. Not to say it's been terrible, but, in terms of his link-up play and the fact he actually rewarded his performance with a goal. Yes, it's a rubbish goal, whatever, but they all count at the end of the day. Like, God knows where Havertz would be if he was in Gyokeres' position, because he probably wouldn't be. Like, he would be standing on the edge of the box. So, like, listen, it was a shame that Gyokeres went off injured. And Marino came in, and I'm not going to lie, Harriman Arnouz might have to produce some madness to sort of like get into this team, pretty much like a Rashford madness. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a really good. Sorry to interrupt, Rory, but that's a really good point. Is he going to have a Rashford sort of moment where he gets that run because of a number of injuries? I mean, I did my preview for tomorrow and put Mikel Arteta up front, and I sort of think to myself now, because actually I then thought about him afterwards. Like, I think probably because it's a Champions League game, he probably won't start, but it could be a shout because he can stretch the play.
Yeah, and then obviously second half was not enjoyable to watch, if I'm being honest. I mean, if I remember correctly, we brought on 6 defenders in the last 3 minutes. Yeah, so we had Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Hincapié, Norgard came on.
He's not a defender, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I know it was towards like the end of the game.
He nearly scored, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, he did.
I mean, speaking of Norgard, like, I don't know about this guy, really. Like, I know Zubimendi is in training, and that's great. But that's the only thing I am a bit concerned about, the midfield. If you look at Declan Rice, who was absolutely phenomenal at the weekend, and he's really, after what was a slow start in a couple of games at the start of the season, he's actually been excellent, as he is pretty much. I mean, considering it was a scrappy second half, again, covering every blade of grass like he always does. He pretty much carried us through that entire 90 minutes. And if Gyokeres didn't get taken off at half time, I probably would have given him man of the match.
Yeah.
But because Declan Rice played 90 minutes, and I would have, I have to give him man of the match based on that. But again, that's not obviously taken away Gyokeres' performance. Obviously, the defence did what they needed to do. I mean, in the 95th minute, I just could not fathom how it's the 95th minute, we're 2-0 up, and you have the players sprinting every bloody millimetre to get that blooming clean sheet. I mean, these defenders are built different. Like, you've got Timber, who at this rate, right, you don't really need to praise him no more, because you can just say traditional Timber performance, like we do with Saliba every week, pretty much, and how he's been at Arsenal, just Saliba. It's got to a point where Timber is Timber. Like, the guy has everything in his locker. Defensively, he's the best right back in the world. Yep. Going forward, he's, gone up a level. He could even beat his man, pause, but you know what I'm saying? So I think he's got up a level when it comes to going forward. If he can improve his crossing, which isn't bad, by the way, but I think that is the only thing I would say that's sort of letting Timber down. I would say his crossing's not particularly great. However, it's not too bad. Everything else, I think he has on lock, to be honest with you. You've got, obviously, Saliba, who was solid. I didn't think he was going to start at the weekend, which gives me hope that Gyokeres could start at the weekend against Sunderland, because, again, I wasn't expecting Saliba to start in the game. I was expecting Mosquera. But Saliba was fine. Gabriel, we know he's very good at headers, to say the least. And then Calafiori, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I wasn't a fan of this guy last year, but it has to be said, he's been immense. He really has been. And I've noticed in the last couple of games, he's actually stuck to his position. We're not seeing him roaming into oblivion. We're actually seeing him stay in position, which is nice to see. And defensively, he doesn't really let much go past him this time. So, listen, it was a brilliant victory. Excellent. Well, not an excellent performance, but a solid enough performance, I would say. It's just obviously second half. We definitely took the foot off the gas. And when we brought on players like Norgard and Marino, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't really think we should. Whilst we're in a Premier League title race, we should not be playing these players who have 54 pace. I'm sorry. Norgard and then Marino,
But do you not think Norgard was brought in as like a El Neni type player?
Yeah.
To be honest, right, and I know this may sound harsh, but I don't see him as an upgrade to Sambi Lokonga, to be honest with you.
Really?
I think
yeah, I mean, maybe it's something to do with minutes, but
do you think do you think the depth lacks in the midfield still then? Do you think we needed an extra midfielder?
Yeah, I do, because you look at Declan Rice, it's Marino. I mean, let's be honest, he's not Declan Rice. Like, he's okay, he's bang average, but again, I wouldn't fancy him starting in a Champions League final if Declan Rice was going to pick up a knock, right? Same applies to, Norgard. Likewise, if he was going to come in for a Champions League semi-final against Bayern Munich, PSG, whoever, he really relied on someone like a Norgard to pull you through in that game. I mean, from what I've seen, he's very slow and he loses the ball a lot. And half the time, he doesn't know where he is. And again, it is still early. I get it, but I don't know. He is playing like a 31-year-old at the moment.
I think
that's the only worry for me.
I think we said it. I can't remember what show he was on, Rory, but it might have been a watch on actually with Tony or something. But I think we're speaking about the plan was to keep Partey, wasn't it, as well, with alongside bringing Zubimendi in. And I think obviously Partey's gone and done what we know what happened there. But I was a big fan of it. I was a fan of the player, obviously. Let me get that straight. Obviously, as a player, I thought he stayed fully fit that season. Last year, played every single game. But I like losing him. I think it's definitely played an impact. I actually agree. I think we should have maybe had an extra midfielder in there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree to some extent, right? But sorry, I've just put something in the chat which is but we won't repeat that here.
Oh my god!
I mean, on Christian Norgard, I mean, I think Rory is right to an extent, right? Moreno, I think Moreno's come in and been solid. Like, he came in to be a squad player. In my view, that was always going to be what he's going to be. And Christian Norgard's the same. He's your El Neni Jorginho, isn't he? He comes in, gets minutes so players get a rest when you've won the game, or to play your Port Vale sort of games. That's what he's here for, and he's really there for sort of as much of the off the field stuff as he is on it with the experience and what have you. That's what he's there for. But I think Rory's right that if you're looking for an area to upgrade this summer, it will be the backups in the central midfield. There's always going to be a drop-off when you've got a Zubimendi Rice because they are both exceptional in their positions. But the drop-off is more marked there than there is anywhere else. You go Saka to Madueke, you go, say, Martinelli to Trossard, or Odegaard to Eza, etc., etc. You go through the team. It's that those two positions are sort of, that double pivot at the back where it's slightly more lacking. I think it's Zubimendi really that's the one that you've kind of missed the most because he can do things that no one else can do, which is, I think, rightly where you're talking about what Arsenal were looking to do with Partey, and then quickly that went south, to say the least. So I think Partey is sort of more similar than, say, Norgard or Moreno to the style of Zubimendi. So I think that's where Arsenal will probably look next summer. But the two together, I think, are slow. But I think if you put Norgard next to a Zubimendi or Rice, I think it starts to look slightly different. But the two together, I think Rory's absolutely spot on. But I think both players are a decent enough level to be backups to a squad capable of winning the league. But they also look worse because of the quality in the rest of the backup department. If you were to name your second 11 for Arsenal, they are the weak links, right? And that's where I do agree with Rory. But I think Norgard will be that solid 6-7 come in, not do anything spectacular, but we'll give you that 6-7. And that's what he was bought for.
Did I just hear that right, by the way? Did I hear that right? 6.
No.
You didn't.
Not intentionally.
You did not do that.
Well, not intentionally, I didn't. No, seriously, not intentionally. Really, honestly, not intentionally.
Seriously, what is this 6-7 thing all about, man? I've seen it everywhere. It's doing my head in. Like, seriously.
I'm talking about 6-7 out of 10. You know, you come in and do nothing spectacular, just keep things ticking over is basically what I mean.
Well, yeah, I was actually going to bring up Zubimendi again, right? And this is something that I stood firm on. I would say when he first came in and we were letting Thomas Partey go, I think it's the first time I could actually come out and say, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, but I reckon from what I've seen so far this season, I think Zubimendi is actually an upgrade on Thomas Partey, which is something that I thought I'd never say because, again, I rated Thomas Partey, but I just think the way we play in and out of possession, like, again, I still do have my question marks on Zubimendi defensively, but it seems like he's really, like, settled in, hasn't he? And so far, like, it's been pivotal to, you know, how we are, what's the term? Like, he's sort of, like, pivotal to our capacity at the back, if you know what I mean. He's crucial to how we want to defend and like when we want to sit deep. And I think, again, as I said, it's a massive part of it. Whereas I think with Partey, right, he was more, and I don't want to keep speaking on Thomas Partey, but he was more like, obviously off the ball, he lacked a lot of pace towards the latter years. Picked up a load of injuries, wasn't necessarily reliable. But one strength I could take from Thomas Partey was the fact he could break lines. Not to say Thomas Partey's defensive abilities were terrible, but I think with Zubimendi coming in, and whether that being a formation change, because I've been saying, right, let's switch this formation to a 4-2-3-1 where we've got a double pivot in Rice and Zubimendi. Lo and behold, it's actually working because you've not got Rice running forward at every attack. At the moment, you don't know whether it's going to be Zubimendi or Declan Rice. At the moment, it's just exchanging constantly. One's dropping in the 6, one's in the 8, and vice versa. So I'm liking what I'm seeing at the moment. I just hope we don't revert back to the 4-3-3 where I just don't think it worked last season. I really don't.
I wonder though what you guys think of this, but I think it's partly true. But I think Partey's ability to split the lines actually sort of deteriorated over time with Arsenal. And I think what Zubimendi has done this season, I think you're right to talk about the formation tweak. I think getting Odegaard further forward is important on the plus side. But I also think Zubimendi moves that ball forward a bit quicker and more effectively through the lines than Thomas Partey did. Almost more similar to Thomas Partey in season 1 rather than Thomas Partey last season. And I think that is making a difference. But Odegaard being higher as a starting position, well, or Ezo, or you know, Wanyeri sort of in limited time, actually is also impacting that. So I think you're right on the formation change. I think because he's really trusts that defence now, that allows Arsenal to be 5-10 yards further forward, but also sides fear us far more, and they are 5-10 yards further back. So suddenly the whole team is further forward. And I think those two things combine really well to make Arsenal more effective. You know, even without some of the options that we might hope to have had this season, because, you know, we've had quite a few offensive injuries, and that's obviously going to have an impact tomorrow night. But, you know, actually, when you think if and when these players come back, that's going to be quite frightening what combinations you've got there, and that actually might make teams even more defensive and make that formation change that Rory Wright acknowledges even more effective. I think that's going to be quite exciting going forward. I really do.
Yeah, for sure. I want to quickly move just quickly on the League Cup, because I want to get you guys' reaction initially to the quarterfinals. Obviously, we got the job done against Brighton. Obviously, the team was a surprising one. When we did the pod before the game, we did the lineup together, and you know, we was all sort of in agreement. Like, we didn't expect Arteta to make that many changes. You know, especially to when you change the whole back four around as well. You know, he went with Mosquera and Nkapie. He went Lewis Skelly in there. He went Ben White. Obviously, Kepa was always going to be in goal. And then he gave the young Harriman a run out
Harriman and
front.
News.
Yeah, which was very, very surprising to see. I actually, and he started Max Salmon as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I was surprised at that as well.
Very surprised because I actually argue I think we played a stronger team against Port Vale than we did against Brighton.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which was, surprised me a lot. And
I think some of that was down to who was available as well.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you are right.
Yeah, I mean, obviously looking briefly back at just changing that squad around, we still get a clean sheet, believe it or not. Now I get it in that first sort of 20 minutes or so. Brighton had some big chances. I remember they played through on goal and
Kepa did really well, didn't he?
Kepa, I thought actually had a really good game, to be fair to him. And
Yeah.
he definitely stood out there. But we got the job done in the end, and we killed the game off. So it took Saka, obviously, he came off the bench and got us a second goal. Great to see Ethan score. I actually argue that I wasn't that impressed with Ethan's performance. I actually don't think he had a good game, but he got himself the goal. And I think as the game went on, his confidence started to build a lot more. But we got the job done against Brighton, guys. It's another Premier League opposition. It's Crystal Palace once again in the quarterfinals, like we did last season. Thanks to Gabriel Jesus, got us a hat trick.
You might
I want to get your
back,
guys' thoughts. You reckon?
He'll be back training. I don't necessarily
limbs if he returns and repeats history.
Around December time,
Yeah, hopefully. But obviously the game, and I'm watching Arteta's press conference there, and he's quite annoyed with how close. I don't know if you guys have seen it. We play Everton, and then I think 3 days later.
Yeah, 2, isn't it? It's Sunday to Tuesday, isn't it, at the moment? 2
days later it's Palace in the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, Crystal Palace is the same as well.
And it's Everton away as well.
Worse.
We got Everton away, which is and we title race. We have to play our full squad there, and then obviously Palace. We know they gave us a really good game already this season. They've got a great manager. They'd be fired up to win this competition. They won the FA Cup last year. I'm sure they're going to want to take it seriously as well for this one.
For me, they've got to move the Everton game to a Saturday. What's the need to have it on the Sunday?
Well, at the moment it's on the Sunday because that's where it's scheduled, but I suspect that will move to a Saturday because the Premier League haven't finalised their fixtures. It's just put on the Sunday, but I think with the Arsenal being drawn on the Tuesday, that will probably end up with that game being moved. But Crystal Palace have got it worse. They play 4 games in 8 days.
Because they've got Conference League as well, don't they?
And I think that is ridiculous, by the way, because we know when the Conference League fixtures are beforehand. So why is the League Cup being played in that week? It will potentially benefit Arsenal because Crystal Palace are going to have to rotate for one of those 2 games heavily or mix and match, which will help Arsenal. I mean, kind of want to make sure that Palace haven't qualified from the Conference League at that point, to be honest with you, because then they'll have to go for that one because they will definitely want to go through there. But I think the fixture scheduling is a joke, and I think it is contributing to injuries across the league. This isn't just an Arsenal thing. This is a player welfare thing, and I think Glasner rightly upset, Arteta rightly upset, and other managers will be. And this isn't excuse making for managers or anything like that. They are absolutely spot on. It is not right. Crystal Palace should not be playing 4 games in 8 days.
Yeah.
And it makes it ruins the spectacle of some of these games as well, because Palace are gonna have to play kids because their squad isn't deep enough.
Yeah, facts.
I was gonna say, like, they don't have the fundamentals to sort of rotate like we do. So
I mean, we struggle with 4 in 8 days. And we've got the deepest squad for me in Europe. We were talking about the midfield, but we're talking about it because of how good the squad is. A lot of sides would still kill for that as their backups.
Definitely.
In terms of a totality of a squad,
it's
ridiculous.
How are you guys feeling overall drawing Palace again in the quarterfinals?
I mean, when I said I wanted anyone but Newcastle, I don't mean Crystal Palace again like we did last season. That's all I will say. I mean, I wanted to play obviously Cardiff. That would have been an ideal draw. Who else is in there? I can't. Obviously,
you got
basically the 4 big boys.
Fulham in there as well. Like, that would have been a nice draw.
Fulham,
Brentford.
And Brentford as well.
It's not a bad draw, like when you actually think about it, because as we pointed out, right, like Crystal Palace have 4 games in 8 days, so like this is our best opportunity of getting through. if you ask me. And you could argue last season when we were at our worst, we still beat a Crystal Palace side that actually won more than us in that season. So I think with the squad capacity we've got and the fact Crystal Palace don't really have the players to rotate, so they're having to obviously play them same players who are going to end up featuring in the Premier League, Conference League. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult period for them, to be honest with you. But yeah, overall, when we first.
Oh, he's gone.
Oh, he's gone.
That is a flattering
It's-
image.
Oh,
Again, Alice, I want to.
no, you're back.
I'm
You're back.
frozen again.
You're back.
You're like a
Bloody
Batman
hell.
bad guy, Mr. Freeze.
He's back.
God's sake.
Hey, that joke he gets.
What was I?
You talking about
Don't know. We lost you about 3 minutes
yeah,
ago.
look.
We lost you like the Burnley defenders for that Declan Rice goal.
Yeah, thanks.
Oh my gosh.
No, you were saying that you was happy like with the draw, pretty much.
Yeah, so I was going to say, right, yeah, I think after like an hour or two, I sat there, I was like, I tell you what, it's a decent draw. But when we first drew Crystal Palace, I was like, really? Again? Like,
True.
I'm not really like a stubborn geezer, you get what I'm saying? I'm
Really?
someone who wants to. I'm someone who wants to face new teams, you get what I'm saying? I like a challenge, but Crystal Palace again, like, come on. And I had no idea what Don was saying, so.
What was I going to say? I don't think I was just talking rubbish. I wouldn't worry about it. But what was I going to say? I mean, I like you, Rory. I agree. Palace is not a bad draw at all. We don't know, what the state of the squads and form's going to be by the time you get there. Ideally, you would have wanted one of the other three teams that the big boys all drew. Really, ideally, you'd want the big boys to draw each other and you avoid them. That's really what you want. Everyone says, I want to play the big teams. No, I don't. I want to play the easiest possible draw I can bloody well get. That's what I want. Everyone can. I don't care if we play rubbish teams the whole way through and win a tournament. You've won. No one remembers who you played. They just remembered you won.
You
right?
win it, yeah.
But I think we're well placed to progress there. And as you rightly say, that Brighton performance, we weren't great, but that was a weak side. In terms of 10 changes, and Brighton are no mugs, and I know they made a couple of changes, but they didn't make that many.
Yeah.
And look, you're right that we could have lost that game before half time, but that sort of gives you confidence that you can go and beat Palace again at home, even if you make 10 changes again. You don't know where they're going to be, or where they're going to prioritise that week at this moment, but. I went all Gary Neville there at this moment in time. But I think it's a good draw. Most importantly, it's a home draw.
Yeah, very, very true. I wanted to quickly get you guys' thoughts. I'm sure you've seen what Arteta said with the injury updates. Another injury for our main striker, Gyokeres. He says it's a muscular problem. Obviously, hence why he came off at half time for Marino. He felt something muscular apparently. And he was asked, what type of whereabouts in the body was it? And then he said he'll leave it for the doctors to decide. So we have to wait.
That's a cop-out answer because the doctors never speak to the media, so we're never going to find out.
Exactly. He's so this manager, man. He loves his mind games all the time, man. He's so good, like flipping well trained and like PR and all that to get finesse his way out of these questions.
Fair,
crazy. But yeah, I mean, another injury, guys. Obviously, we've had. Very unlucky with players like Madueke, who I thought had a great start to the season. Guides, and I still think we actually miss him in some of these games as well, I'd argue, because I was actually really impressed what I saw of him. Obviously, we knew about Havertz start of the season. We already obviously knew about Jesus. Odegaard obviously injured as well.
Triple impact injury for him as well.
Yeah. And
every home game in the Premier League he's been injured.
That's crazy, man. I think 3 of them injuries are knee injuries as well. Havertz, Odegaard, and Jesus. I'm pretty sure. I think what's non-knees? Is that just
Yeah, that's a knee
Knee
injury.
injury.
He's not. He's a knee injury as well,
Yeah.
man. Like,
So a lot of those early injuries were a lot of them were impact injuries, which are much harder to mitigate against. But we're starting to see some muscle injuries creep back in, and I think that's just, I think Arteta has done a reasonable job on rotation this year. But again, he's
I
been
agree.
hampered by those
Yeah.
impact injuries. And I can't fault the club. Last year I genuinely, and I've said this before, and I won't labour the point, that last season was massively impacted by injuries because you saw the snowball effect. You got 3-4 injuries, then you're having to overplay the players, and you get more of them. And we're starting to see that come in now because you haven't had the players available because of these impact injuries to then rotate. Liverpool starting to actually also see the same effects. They are currently the most injured team in the Premier League. Let's not pretend that's all down to that. That's only a very recent thing in the last week or so. I think they've got a structural problem, and I don't think that has anything to do with their players available. But the injuries are starting to creep back into the league as these players are playing more and more. And I do think those early impact injuries, as I say, have really impacted Arsenal now because we were talking about the need for Timber, Zubimendi, Gyokeres all needing rest. And in fairness, he rested them on Wednesday night, but you can just see how it's all built up. So I think the international break's going to come at a good time. So hopefully we'll have,
Yeah, definitely.
we should have Odegaard, Havertz, and Madueke back after that. But a muscle injury is never good. And again, it comes back to the point we're talking about the number of games and what have you.
Yeah, it's very, very frustrating. Should we be like, concerned with Gyokeres? Because this guy it's such a shame. He played for me one of his best sort of halves against Burnley, and you saw him in the recent game, slowly but surely getting used to the system of Arsenal. He scored a brace against Atleti, he scored again against Burnley. He's getting in the Hannafins, and then this injury happens. Obviously, like, we don't know the extent of it, but I throw this to you, Rory. Are you concerned with this, with the Gyokeres news?
Welcome to Arsenal, Victor, innit? You play well and then you get injured.
Yeah.
It's just the same cycle over and over again with Arsenal players, it feels like. They play well and then they get injured. It's actually so frustrating. It's a big blow as well because, like, not only he's our only fit striker, but hopefully, right, if he's out for like a couple of weeks or months, whatever, I don't think it's going to be months, but weeks even, and he's missing a huge period when we've got Tottenham, Bayern in between, Chelsea as well, then I think Arsenal fans and rival fans might actually take into consideration how important Gyokeres is to this team, and the fact it's not just goals that he brings, and he's not scored. He's not got Haaland numbers, has he? So far this season, I expected a lot more, but it's again not just goals. It's his hold-up play. It's the ability to stretch the play. Now it's almost like, well, Marino's up front, and if Havertz comes back before Gyokeres, then we're back to square one, pretty much. Same game plan, because when we didn't have Gyokeres last season, and not just actually last season, but Burnley in that second half dropped 10 yards up the pitch because they knew that Marino's not that sort of guy that you're going to thread a ball in behind. Whereas Gyokeres is that guy. He's the only striker we've got at the club that has the ability to make a run. And it's a shame he's actually gone down as well, because again, like, his first half was really good against Burnley. He was starting to score goals as well. I think he scored 3 goals in his last 3 starts for Arsenal, including the one obviously against Atletico Madrid, and then obviously scored against Burnley at the weekend. So yeah, I think this could be a huge miss, especially if we have to play Marino up front, and then relying on Havertz as well, who has missed pretty much since the start of the season. Well, technically the start of the season.
His first game was he got a bang to the knee, didn't he? And that jarred stuff, wasn't it?
First game of the season is what I want about. So yeah, hopefully again that is nothing serious. I mean, knowing Arteta, like he will be back for the next game. I just don't know why I've got that feeling, but yeah, my head's saying that he's going to be out for a couple of weeks at least. He's going to miss definitely the international break, and for me, like he should not be going on national duty.
No way.
I couldn't give a shit what Graham Potter thinks. Like, just leave him at home because at the end of the day, we do not have. Well, we've got enough attacking players, but we don't really want to get in this situation again because it only takes 2 more attackers to then go down, and then we're back to square one.
At the moment, we've got what Martinelli,
Martinelli's out, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, Odegaard, all these guys are out at the moment. There's
What's Martinelli done in terms of his injury?
I think that is that a knee injury. I think that's an.
I can't remember what Martinelli's done, to be honest. I thought,
but he'll still be out. He's still out right now.
Yeah, he missed the weekend. Whether he's going to be back, I don't know. But
he wasn't in training though.
He wasn't spotted in training. That doesn't necessarily mean he wasn't there. They quite often send players out after the the sort of open training sessions ended. But I mean, I think Gyokeres has undoubtedly made that difference running forward. Again, Rory's right on that one, and I think it'll be really interesting to see how Kai Havertz plays when he comes back, because he's obviously sort of more of a come short, receive the ball, and try and get the wingers in behind. And I think that's what Arsenal are going to have to try and do to create the width with Mikel Moreno playing there, tomorrow night, unless the youngster Housen and Noose, or however his player's name, plays. But Havertz, when he did come on, was actually getting forward and trying to get beyond the player more than we've seen him do before. So I think that'll be interesting to see how he plays. We don't know, was that a one-off? Was it not? That'll be very interesting. But Gyokeres is clearly a big miss, and he sort of speaks to what we're sort of saying about I mean, he's a bit unfortunate because you've lost the options to replace him. But when those injuries build up and you end up playing players through, you sort of increase the risk of injury, and that's what happened here. But I've some sympathy with Arsenal this season on that one. But I think Gyokeres has started well. He's not been spectacular, but I think he has started well.
It's not been too bad actually. It's just obviously with Kai Havertz, right? If we set him out exactly like we did last season, where I'm seeing him on either flank, I'm seeing him deeper than bloody Declan Rice, for God's sake, and Thomas Partey, then I don't know. I don't think we've got. I don't think that we've got much hope. And it's the same applies to Marino as well. Like the guy most of the time drops deep in between the 2 centre backs. No, he doesn't drop in between the 2 centre backs, but he drops into midfield and then he just plays it. He plays it back to the centre backs.
Yeah, and that's obviously because that's his natural sort of game, right? Is to be that much deeper. Mikel Moreno, I'm not going to sort of hold that against him, but I think Kai Havertz will be really interesting. Obviously, as you rightly say, that was the sort of game plan last season, and it suits Kai Havertz because for me, he's sort of a second striker, really, rather than a number 9. That sort of 9.5, 10 sort of area. So it's not.
But I don't see him as a right winger or a left winger.
No, Kai Havertz, no, definitely not.
Yeah. Obviously, let's go to the game. Well, as I said, it'll be up today is match day when you're watching this, guys. And obviously, we do play Slavia Prague away from home. Early kickoff as well, 5:45.
Sorry, remind me. Czechoslovakia, that's in Asia, isn't it?
Tom's
going to kill me for that.
I'm clipping that. I'm sorry, Tom. Man, like Thomas Rosicky, yeah. Thomas Rosicky, the Russian Thomas Rosicky people. You know.
Sorry, Tom.
That's getting clips and straight onto the group chat for you. Don't worry. But yes, we are in Slavia Prague tomorrow, 5:45 kickoff. 4th game in the Champions League. Obviously, we won the first 3 clean sheets as well. I think only Arsenal and Inter are the only 2 teams left in the competition that have not conceded a goal yet. So that's always good sort of to look at and improve. Shows once again how good we are defensively. Obviously, we played them 2021 in Europa League and we beat them 4-0 in Prague, and it was a 1-1 draw in the first leg. Go on, Rory, you want to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say something, right? And I don't know if he's sporting director anymore at Slavia Prague, or I might be thinking of someone else. But now you've mentioned Rosicky, wasn't he
Sparta Prague.
the
Sparta Prague.
Slavia
No,
Prague?
Sparta.
He's
Was
Sparta,
it
not
Sparta?
Sparta
Sparta,
Prague.
not
Yeah.
Slavia.
Yeah, Sparta.
Oh,
It's the other one. Yeah.
Although Slavia Prague keeps autocorrecting to Saliba on my phone.
Yeah, I did that. I did the exact same thing when I did the title for it today, man.
Yeah.
It comes up. So I keep like autocorrect. But yeah. I mean, we're gonna get to the lineup in a minute because obviously with the injuries and some interesting sort of decisions, if we actually rotate a little bit, we have to wait and see. But just initial thoughts. I'll start with you, Rory, bro. Just thoughts coming in up against Slavia. How you feeling for it?
yeah, I mean, we should be able to win this game. Like, even with the injuries, there's still no excuses for me to go out there, even with a rotated team, right? Obviously, I wouldn't rotate everyone, but I would still obviously throw in a couple of rotational players. I would be considering resting the back four because I think we've just got the capability of doing it. I really do. The midfield is going to be an interesting one because obviously Declan Rice is one yellow card away from suspension, and if he gets a yellow card, then he's out for Bayern. We've already got suspended. Obviously, he's going to be back for the Bayern game, but we can't afford to let go of Rice. Well, lose Rice. Sorry, not let go of him, bloody hell. But
You're free transferring him, Rory.
nah.
No, I'm with you on that one. I think
Nah.
it's him, yeah. Useful player to have around.
But yeah, as I was saying, right, we can't afford to lose Declan Rice for the Bayern game. So, like, for me, that could be into consideration, like what we do in midfield. Do you play Marino up front, or do you play him in midfield instead of Rice? Or do you even play Lewis Skelly in midfield and then leave Calafiori at left back? I don't know. It's they're decent, squad headaches to have, but I personally would stick with obviously Raya in goal because again, like, there's no need to change the goalkeeper. Although to be fair, like we might as well give Tommy Setford a few games because Raya, like, let's be honest, lately in these last 9 games has it been? I mean, he's done less work than I did in lockdown. And if you're doing less work than me in lockdown, then yeah. But no, I'm going to go Raya. I was thinking going Kepa, but I'll go Raya in goal. And then back four, Ben White will probably start. I reckon one of the two centre-backs in Saliba and Gabriel may start, but I would be considering Mosquera and Hincapié. I think Hincapié's looked really good so far. I've been really impressed with what I've seen from him. And then Lewis Skelly, I guess, at left back, although I would like to play in midfield, but again, I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm just going to go left foot with Lewis Skelly, and then midfield, I'll probably go Norgard, Marino, and then Waneri. And then I think Saka will start on the right. I think Eze will play on the left, and then I would play Harriman Arnaud. So I'd rather play a striker up top than have no striker whatsoever.
I think
out of the games we've got, maybe apart from Kyra, like
maybe he might go Trossard, the false nine, though, like as a striker.
Yeah, he might go with Trossard, to be fair, if he doesn't want to risk Rice, which we've seen so far this season that, he hasn't really taken many risks on Declan Rice. And, we've got a busy schedule. Like in December, it's always busy. We're in November at the moment, and obviously we've got Chelsea, Bayern, Tottenham, then 3 games. So we can't afford. We need to obviously, take each game at a time, and sort of pick and choose like which games we have to rest Declan Rice in. I think out of all of them, I think this is probably the game. I think you can get away with playing Norgard and Marino, although that's probably the slowest midfield you could have asked for in a Champions League game. I've got to be honest, but still, I think that should be good enough to beat Slavia Prague. Like with a couple of first team players in there, with the likes of I'd say Gabriel and Saliba. One of them will probably start, and then you've got the midfield that I think will change because obviously Zubimendi suspended. And then there's that question mark about Declan Rice, whether he starts him or not. I think the attack, again, that remains a question mark. Who he's going to play up front? So it's actually hard. Probably harder than the Brighton selection last week, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, because it's that thing with Rice in the midfield as well. Like, I'd rather him not play against Slavia than... Yeah, I'd rather him not play Slavia, and then if he gets yellow card against Slavia, then we got Bayern next, and he missed a Bayern game, and we have to play someone next like Marino or someone like Norgard.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Against Bayern Munich. Like, no. So hopefully, Rice gets.
Yeah, this is what I'm concerned about with the midfield.
Yeah.
Do get suspensions and injuries, etc.
Dom, what's your thoughts coming into the game, and what will your team look like?
So I think it's always difficult because you never know what you're going to do. But and this might be different to what I said earlier because I can't remember what I've said on my match preview. But Rayo will start in goal. I don't think there's any chance that Kepa starts this one. I went with Timber right back because I actually think Ben White against Sunderland is the better option.
Okay.
To try and sort of get some more width and sort of try and get more down that right hand side, him and Saka, to try and unlock Sunderland. That's why I made that choice. But I wouldn't be shocked for Ben White to start tomorrow. I would rest Saliba for this one. Didn't expect to see him back against Burnley. I'd rather have him against Sunderland. So Mosquera comes in, which probably means Gabriel starts. But I wouldn't be shocked again, as Rory said, to see a completely changed back four, because if it's good enough for Brighton to get through, then I think it's good enough here. But I'm going to go with Gabriel, and then I went Miles Lewis-Skelly at left back. But I think what is interesting here is, could you go in Capio at left back? Miles Lewis-Skelly moves into midfield, because Rory's right. The real problem is, what do you do with Declan Rice? Because we all want him for Bayern, but you're missing Zubimendi. I think he's going to go Moreno up front, but then he shocked me against Brighton, and actually I thought the young lad did really, really well. I'm a bit annoyed in my preview that I didn't consider him. I might even re-record it for the third time. But I think probably ideal is to go with the youngster up front and Moreno in midfield there with Norgard, which Rory again rightly says is slow. But if you've got Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ben White coming from the fullback areas, although I went with Timber, he again same sort of thing. I think you can sort of get some width and some pace there. But I go Wanyeri. I think Eza needs a bit of a rest here, so I leave Eza out of this one and go with Wanyeri. Then I think it'd be Bukayo Saka, Trossard, and the youngster up front. But lots of interesting ones. I think, as you rightly say in the question, and as Rory said, Rice is the key. Do you want to play Rice? Yes or no? You can win this game without Rice.
Yeah.
But it all, and I think it's really then rests on what you do at number 9. Because if it's not Moreno at 9, then you can rest Rice. What I don't want to see is Rice, if he's on the bench, coming on. In fact, to be honest with you, if Declan Rice isn't starting the game, don't even bother taking him. I know he's gone, but don't bother taking him, because I don't want him to travel and come back.
Yeah.
I know why he's gone, by the way, which is if there's an injury tomorrow, Declan Rice is there and Declan Rice plays.
Of course.
But as in terms, someone gets injured in the warm up, Declan Rice will probably come in. But so I do understand why he's gone. But
do you guys definitely think Arteta will drop him then?
I had him in my starting lineup in the preview.
I don't know. I've got a feeling that he might actually start Rice.
I do too. I had him in my starting lineup, and the reason I think it as well is because this is still, Arsenal should win this game, this is still an away Champions League tie. And the other thing you've got to think about here is this is a chance to get 3 more points on the road. Arsenal then go to 12 points, and you want to finish in the top 8, and that's going to be very competitive because that's 2 games off in February.
Very true, yeah.
And you've probably already banked on dropping points against Bayern So obviously Rice increases your chances of getting the 3 points. But if you banked on that, this is a more sure bet to get you 3 points than Bayern is.
Yeah.
That might well come into his thinking. Because if you lose Bayern, for argument's sake, you get a draw in Inter
As well,
and
yeah.
you win your other 3 games. That's another 10 points to add to the 9. That's 19 points. That should be top 8.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm just topping up the maths here, and it's looking ahead, which is always dangerous. But that's for me is why, with the other injuries, why I think he'll go Rice tomorrow. But he shocked us last week with that team selection.
Yeah, I will say this now though about Declan Rice. I think there's not really anyone in midfield that I would rely on to not get booked and get suspended for that Bayern game, because he'll know that. He knows he is one card away from suspension.
Well, he shouted at Thomas Partey last year for doing it, if you remember.
Yeah, and he's very disciplined. Like, he doesn't pick up many yellow cards, does he? So I think even if he does start, and I don't see him getting booked, but again, you just never know.
All it takes is one mistake, one missed on tackle, and look, Arsenal are going to dominate the ball.
Yeah.
They're going to get forward. Slavia's best bet is on the counter. Who's going to be the first line of defence on the counter? Is going to be a central midfielder, which will be Declan Rice.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Declan Rice, to be fair, because Norgard just, he doesn't really know where he is at most of the time. So, but yeah, off topic,
I think Norgard alongside Rice might be interesting.
Say again?
I think Norgard next to Rice might be quite interesting. I actually thought he did all right when he came on the other day, but Josh, what do you reckon?
Too bad, but to start games, I don't mind him coming off the bench and seeing out games, but when he's starting, I'm not too sure. But I know we're going off topic. Well, I'm going off topic, but I just wanted to ask you guys about Trossard. This season, what have you made of him? Because
I think he's played very well in the recent games.
Yeah, he really has, to be fair.
And
I love someone that sort of whenever he started games. I feel like we as a fan base are very quick to criticise Trossard whenever he's starting games and then performs poor. But whenever he starts games but plays well, we don't really praise him. And I agree. I just completely forgot to mention him in that Burnley game. But
did you guys see that second half? He was the guy doing the team huddle as well. He's being the vocal guy as well.
Yeah. I didn't know he had it in him, to be honest. I knew he is quite arrogant. It's fair to say, he's come across as an arrogant geezer from how he left at Brighton.
I think he had a fight with a Zerbi or something.
He did.
He did.
Exactly.
But what if you two tipped him to be captain last week?
Really?
Didn't one of you two tip him to be captain last week? Someone, on here tipped him to be captain.
No,
I think I thought it was going to be Moreno. I think Rory. I think you and I both said it would be Moreno, but someone said Trossard on the pod last week, and
might have been Anthony. Who came on?
He could have been,
week.
and and as you say, he's leading the huddle. I've always liked Trossard as a player, and I always praise him off the bench, and I still think off the bench is his best sort of role because I think he can change a game.
Yeah,
but he's done exceptionally well. I feel like I'm agreeing with Rory consistently tonight, but Trossard. We agree quite often, but Trossard is that player you easily forget to praise. But his goal and assist ratio is unbelievable.
It is for sure. Yeah,
but we still need a left winger though. We still need an upgrade in that position.
100%.
I think so.
100%. Obviously, even for Martinelli and Trossard, I'd still have them both as bench options really, and then go and get that proper left winner in there. But
Martinelli's too inconsistent. I think Trossard is, just not quite right.
Arteta clearly rates Trossard this season over Martinelli because if you, I remember last season it was take your pick really, flip of a coin. 1 week it'd be Martinelli, then it'd be Trossard. But this season it seems like his starting left winner is going to be Trossard.
I also think though he's been really impressed with Martinelli off the bench.
Yeah, there we go.
And I think that's also a factor as well.
Do you think he'll extend his contract, by the way? Because there were talks, obviously, in the summer that he was going to extend his contract.
He was asked about that today, and it looks like it could be an option.
Well, he's got his contract ends in 2027, isn't it?
Yeah, he's got 2 years.
He's got 2 years left. And
18 months.
He's 30 now, isn't he, as well?
Yeah.
So he's getting older.
I wouldn't want one more than a 1-year extension to that contract, by the way.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing him as a bench option next season, as long as we obviously upgrade the left wing position. Like,
Yeah.
It'd also protect his value if we got a contract now.
I think that's got to be the marquee signing, definitely, whether that be in January or in the summer. That's got to be the marquee signing, the left wing.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just better to do it, to be honest with you. If this was Edu, then
if this is opportunity, yeah, I think you were.
Yeah. Did you see his Halloween costume, by the way?
Who, Edu?
Yeah, on his Instagram.
No, I don't. No, what?
Was it Lukonga?
I tweeted that, and you know when he signed Raheem Sterling on deadline day, and he put the best of me. I was like, yo, I think I was more scared when that happened than your Halloween costume, buddy. Bro, what an absolute dud that guy was, and the fact that Nottingham Forest are where they are because of him. I mean, you know, the fine upgrade, that's one of them, going from Edu to bloody Andrea Berta.
Oh, mate, Berta's mad. Berta's changed lives already, mate, and he's only been here for five months.
Berta's been a fantastic addition, like one of the best director of footballs. And, you know, it sums up where Arsenal have gone from, you know, and Edu does deserve some credit for Arsenal's rebuild, you know, but there's no question that Berta is an upgrade, you know, and it's because we are a side capable of winning titles now that you can get someone of Andrea Berta's quality.
Yeah, definitely.
The thing is, Josh, you should have asked the Atletico Madrid fan you got on about Andrea Berta and how he was at Atletico.
When I went on their channel, we were speaking towards the end of the stream, and you know what surprised me? They said they don't miss him, which really surprised me. And they said the director they replaced him is better, and I was like, interesting. But they were saying like he was there for so long, and the thing with Atleti is apparently every single year they always have money problems, like financial issues.
Yeah.
So which kind of affects him a little bit, and he didn't get like his tools really. Apparently that he's really, and his role wasn't as important like as he's sort of at Arsenal. Like you see him at Arsenal, how involved he was with all our transfers really, and the contracts and like selling players. So that's maybe why. But yeah, they said like obviously looking at the situation that he's in at Arsenal, they said like he's done a really good job for us. But yeah, man.
Josh, do you reckon there was an element of he'd been there that long that they were ready for a change as well?
It's probably that, isn't it? Because he was there 13 years or something. They were saying 14 years. That's ridiculous, man. Like, so. But I mean, there we go, man. He's been incredible. Like I've been hearing Saka new contract is going to come through. Timber as well. Declan Rice, like this is incredible.
I mean, obviously he's come when the money was here. You know, last summer I always maintained that the money wasn't there, but he spent it brilliantly well. You know, again, I talked in the summer about a Liverpool sexy window, just for you, Rory, versus our pragmatic one. You know, but he spent it really well. He's looked at, you know, we're really nitpicking on our conversation earlier about Moreno and Norgard when we, you know, but we're also right that that's the area you want to upgrade in terms of the squad level. But you know that he's come in, he's gone, I've got this much money to spend. These are the areas I want to upgrade. I want an upgrade at 6 starting. I want an upgrade at 9 starting, and I want someone that can do something out of nothing. He's done all of them with Gyokeres, Zubimendi, and Eza. And then I want to get backup improvements at centre back on the left side. Yeah. I want to get backup improvement on the right wing. You know, and I want to get an experienced head into that midfield.
Yeah,
and he's done all of that.
It's just Nkapie is obviously on loan.
Oh, and a backup keeper. I knew I forgot someone.
Yeah, Nkapie obviously is on loan, so I know it's an option to buy, but
it's a David Raya situation, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we're getting grumpy.
It's because Porto couldn't afford Kivior. Therefore, because we didn't sell Kivior, we couldn't afford Nkapie. So therefore, when Kivior goes through next summer, then Nkapie goes through. That was all financial. If Porto had paid up this summer, which they couldn't, then you know that Nkapie would be a permanent now.
Yeah, I mean, that's the player that I forgot about. Like you mentioned there, Dom, Kivior, completely just gone now. To be honest, and
he's doing really well at Porto, by the way.
Fair play to him. Yeah, he's doing his thing, but you know, like it just shows you, like Mosquera's came in, for example. Looking back on it, I don't know, we're still in November, but £13 million for a player like Mosquera now. it's incredible, man. It really is.
We haven't even seen Hincapié yet.
We've barely my voice. Jesus Christ. We've barely seen Ngampie. Like he played what the game against Brighton, and I think he had
And
5
there's
minutes against
He came
Bilbao.
on against Burnley. He came on.
Sorry, against Burnley as well. Yeah.
He came
So
on against Palace as well for the last couple of minutes.
I don't know whether we're sort of using maybe as a centre back as well, or left back. He can play, can't he?
Didn't he come on as a left back against Burnley?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's mad.
But then
I think it'd be really interesting to see how he goes. Yeah.
It'd be interesting, but
I think I know a lot of people concerned when he came in and got injured, but I don't think that's uncommon when you come in with the intensity, of the Premier League and the way Premier League sides tend to train and condition early on because they play that many more games. I don't think that was a major shock to me. You quite often see it, not just at Arsenal. So I'm not concerned about his injury record at all.
Someone, I don't know if this is true, but his injury apparently came from when he's at Ecuador in the summer or something, when he played for international. That's what someone told me. And it's
I think that is where he got it, but I wonder though whether it did also come from the fact that Arsenal were sort of the intensity of Arsenal training was much more than he was used to.
Yeah.
And a lot of players have said that when they've come in, either from other Premier League sides or from abroad.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get some predictions for today's game. I'm gonna go 2-0 Arsenal clean sheet. What about you, Dom?
If we're doing today's game, I think 4-1 loss, 4-2 loss. I think that was the score earlier.
Dom, yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
it is 35 past 10 as well.
Yeah.
So we're technically not in today.
Yeah. But in terms of for this podcast, today's game, I think 3-1. But I made that prediction and stuck with it. That was knowing that Gyokeres was out. But I'll stick with the 3-1.
3-1.
Arsenal got to concede at some point.
Yeah.
I spoke about this earlier today, actually. Arsenal, when we concede, and it will happen, I really want us to be 3-0 up and with like 5 minutes to go because I'm really worried that if we concede early in the game or a close game that we end up losing it.
Yeah.
Because the impact it's going to have, because we're so used to not conceding, and it's going to buoy the other team. Suddenly we're going to go, oh, we're not invincible anymore. It's like the 49-game run. We really struggled for a few games after that.
Yeah, exactly. That's actually a good point, to be fair.
Well, I had to get one eventually.
What about you, Rory? What's your prediction?
Very close, Tom. I mean, for once, no one's actually stolen my prediction. I said 3-0.
3-0. Okay.
Arsenal, by the way, not Slavia Prague.
Fair enough. There we go.
What about Sparta Prague? Fancy them for a goal? It's so, in all seriousness, no, it's so easily done. It's so easily done between the two. I said it earlier. I was like, Slavia Prague. I was like, oh Christ, is it Sparta or Slavia?
Yeah.
So I had that moment of doubt because Sparta are the more famous, arguably of the two in some ways.
Yeah.
Or are they? I get the two mixed up. There you go. I've just done it again. I can't remember which way around they are.
But it's not really worse than getting Savinho and Savio mixed up, so it's all good.
Oh my days!
Yeah,
that was one of my favourite moments from last year's series.
Rory, you never ever got to get around doing the best clips. Remember when you had that video sorted out?
Yeah, you know what? I've got that saved on CapCut. And
I'm gonna have to upload that. There were some funny moments, funny clips. Season,
man. Yeah, might have to run through the podcast we've done so far this season as well.
Yeah, some good ones.
Look out some funny bits as well.
But yeah, there we go, guys. That is.
By the way, are you listening to this as a sports podcast on Spotify, or when it gets onto Spotify if it's not already?
Yeah,
or are you getting down to the comedy podcast?
Wait,
it could be either.
Yeah, it could be either. If I can even navigate Spotify, so hopefully, I know I said it last week. I attempted it briefly for 5 minutes, and I was like, I don't know what happened in the end. I must have forgot about it, and now you reminded me again, Dom. So we'll have another go on Spotify. Hopefully, it'll be there, guys. So you can find all the podcasts on Spotify. But yeah, Rory, you got anything coming up on your channel, mate?
Probably a match reaction tomorrow for the Slavia Prague game. You're doing a watch along for the game tomorrow?
I will be, yeah. If you want to join me and Tony will be there as well.
Yeah. So
the uncle.
Yeah, that's about it really. Match reaction, and then I may have a couple of videos here and there, tactical analysis. well, not tactical analysis, but zooming in. You get what I'm saying on players. Pause, but again.
Oh man, Dom, you obviously got your shoot out tomorrow, right? On you're dropping a little preview for the game.
Yep, 8:01.
There we go.
Previews out tomorrow because it's game day or today. So go back to 8:01, and you can.
There we go.
So yep, that'll be out today. Yesterday, I had a couple of videos out which were relatively injuries actually, which was sort of interesting. So which were talking about the things we're talking about today about how our clean sheet record sort of suddenly worries me. But also, I don't know if you guys clocked this. Saliba gave an interview to a media outlet. And he was asked about the interest in Real Madrid, and he said, "Yeah, of course it was there, but I wanted to stay at Arsenal to win trophies first, and then I'll worry it." And first, and then basically said, "Then I'll see what happens." I can't remember. That's not word for word what he said. That, but that's basically what he said. So check that one out, and you can actually see what he did say because I quoted it in the video. But I mean, I he was always the one I was most worried about signing, but I thought on balance he probably would sign a new contract. But equally, I always feel that have felt he's going to be a Real Madrid player.
Yeah, they're always going to be there. I think.
Can we just confirm then, Dom, that he prefers trophies over dogs?
I wouldn't assume so. I mean, I'm not quite sure if anyone thought he preferred. Who the hell thought he preferred dogs?
Come on, Dom.
I want trophies, not dogs.
It was a rhetorical question, Rory. You
gotta know.
Bro, please tell me you saw that clip of Seb.
Yeah, I do. We want trophies, not dogs.
That's actually honestly, Dom. That's actually I've obviously never heard about that, which is odd because I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'll definitely check it out, man. But
it was my 6 o'clock video yesterday. For anyone that is interested.
There we go.
But if someone could sub to me, that would be great because I'm on 249.
249 now.
249. I'm getting there slowly but surely, edging my way up.
Yes, he's getting there, people.
Definitely. But yeah, there's normally a short every day. I kind of pick up the camera, talk for 2 minutes and 59 seconds, and then upload it. So it could be on anything this week, which we'll see.
There we go. Big up, guys. Everyone who's watched today. Haven't already smashed the like. As I said at the start, you can find the channels in the description. And we'll be back, as always, next week after the Sunderland game. After that. And international break, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, another international break.
Oh,
great.
It might well come at the right time for Arsenal, though, given the
that's
injury.
True. That's the good thing about it.
So.
But it's a long 2 weeks, isn't it?
It is. Do
you know what they're doing next year, by the way? I think, it's going to be a very long period when it happens, but they're combining the September and October international breaks.
Yeah. You know what? Just quickly on that, like, I think Wenger said it. He said, why don't they, I think he's still like in part of FIFA or something. Like, I swear he can have a say on this.
He's an advisor or something, or an executive or something.
But he was saying, as long as when they don't obviously have the World Cup or Euros on, if they after the season ends for the club, I think he said like have a full June or July, play all the qualifiers there, and that way we have no other international break. But I don't know how that would work. I don't know if that will ever really happen.
Yeah, but you could start the season in a little bit later, couldn't you? And use that way. But you know what would happen? They're just putting a new competition.
It's stupid. Like they would have the flipping like Nations League, like Jesus Christ, man, ridiculous. But
well,
either an international one or a domestic one.
Yeah, they play the Nations League throughout the summer anyway.
No, just another Nations like what is ridiculous.
That would have for that to happen. That would have to go, wouldn't it? The Nations League.
Yeah. I don't think they're gonna do that. Yeah.
But in all seriousness, though, the Nations League going wouldn't be the end. It was put in actually for quite good reasons, which was to stop meaningless friendlies.
Yeah, that's true.
I kind of got the idea behind the Nations League. I mean, it's not that I'm a massive fan of it, but at least I got what they were trying to do with that one. Whereas I'd just rather see less games. We were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
There are too many games. It is true.
Yeah. Definitely.
Which is ironic because we all win when there's no football.
But yes, thanks everyone who watched, and Obviously, come on, you Gunners, as always, guys, and we'll catch you next week. Take care, everyone. We're out of here.